Hi there, folks, and welcome to the What Solutions for this week's The Daily Rigour, issue number 299. So, in his final speech as Prime Minister, Boris Johnson gave some excellent energy advice. And what his advice was to make your home more energy efficient or to contribute towards that. If you spent £20 on a more energy efficient kettle, this would save you £10 every year on your energy bills. So, part A, first of all, how long would it take a person to save enough money in their energy bills to cover the cost of the new kettle? Well, obviously, if it's £10 every year, two lots of £10 is £20, so the answer is 2 years' time. Now, what he didn't actually mention was that the average lifespan of a good quality electric kettle is 5 years, and using it longer than that could actually be a bit hazardous with the water and the metal and everything inside. So how much profit would a person make in total if they kept the new kettle for this recommended amount of time? Well, obviously, if they kept it for 5 years, that's a £50 saving on their energy bills, and if you take off the cost of the kettle, your original startup cost, that means it's a £30 saving over the course of that 5 years. So, bearing in mind that the average UK household energy bill is set to rise to £3,549 on the 1st of October. So, with this in mind, do you think this is helpful energy advice by the outgoing Prime Minister? So, of course, the answer to part C is no, and will not accept any other response other than that, unless it's maybe definitely not, or something that's the equivalent to no. Anyway, on to our sports story. So Cristiano Ronaldo, part of his state-of-the-art routines to keep himself in tip-top conditions are to nap 5 times a day, and each of those naps lasts 90 minutes. So how long does Cristiano Ronaldo spend napping each day? Well, it's going to be 5 lots of 90 minutes, which is 450 minutes. Now we've to give our answer in hours and minutes here, so let's just go through our multiples of 60, because there's 60 minutes in every hour. So 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 360, 420. And that's going to be as close as we can get to 450 without actually going over it. So that was 7 hours, and that was taking us to 420 minutes, which means we're going to have 30 minutes left over. So how on earth can we possibly fit in 5 90-minute naps every day? Well, the amount of time Cristiano Ronaldo spent in the bench recently, maybe in the next game of football, which is 90 minutes long, he could have one of his naps. Sorry, Cristiano, that was a terrible joke. You're still an excellent athlete. Okay, so on to our science story. So, for all of you space lovers, the launch of NASA's new moon rocket was actually delayed for the second time there. We obviously ran a story last week. We were expecting it to be on Monday. It was then changed to Saturday, and it was again thwarted, the attempt to launch, because of a fuel leak. Now, this rocket, the most powerful ever developed, is 100 metres tall. So how tall is this in centimetres? Well, if we're changing metres into centimetres, there's obviously going to be more centimetres because they're a smaller unit, and there's 100 centimetres in every metre, so it's going to be 100 lots of 100 metres. So that's going to be 10,000 centimetres. Now, in terms of millimetres, two ways to do it. There's 1,000 millimetres in every metre, so we could either do 1,000 lots of 100, or because there's 10 millimetres in every centimetre, we could just do 10 lots of 10,000. Either way we do it, we're going to get an answer of 100,000 millimetres. Now, in terms of kilometres, there's actually going to be less kilometres than metres because it's a bigger unit. So there are 1,000 metres in every kilometre. So what we need to do is we need to divide this 100 by 1,000. So if we move everything down 3 place values, the hundreds is going to become tens, then units, then tenths. So that's going to give us 0.1 kilometres. So fingers crossed we get a launch in mid-October and it's successful. So on to our final story of the week, our technology story. So even though Japan are quite sophisticated with technology and state-of-the-art, they still actually rely on the traditional storage device, the floppy disk, for lots of government processes. So for those of you that aren't familiar with it, this is what it looks like. It used to pop into a wee floppy disk drive in the computer. So Japan are now trying to turn to more online services and not about time. Now, back in the day, storage didn't take up that amount of space. There was no music, there was hardly any photos, there was certainly no videos. So it was thought that 1.44 megabytes was all you could possibly need for your storage space back in 1986. So this was quite innovative when it came out. Anyway, how many floppy disks would you need to hold all the information, contained on a Rigour gold memory stick, and look how shiny they are, aren't they fantastic? Anyway, so for an 8GB memory stick, there's 1000 megabytes in a gigabyte, so that's 1000 lots of 8GB, which is 8000 gigabytes altogether. And now we just need to work out how many times 1.44 goes into 8000. So it's going to be 8000 divided by 1.44, and to hold all the data, we're obviously going to have to round up to the nearest floppy disk. So that's an answer of 5,556 floppy disks. And there we have it, folks, our word solutions for this week. We hope you've enjoyed solving these problems. Stay tuned for next week's edition, when we're going to be looking at more stories from the news of the week and the numbers behind them in our 300th edition ever of the Daily Rigour. How cool is that? But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and bye for now.